Maverick's really excited about these shocks too. I'm working in my shop today on my truck Dig Dug, and what I'm doing today is one of my favorite parts of every build. I'm gonna be setting up the rear suspension. Last week I went and checked out some Ultra 4 cars, and I'm gonna take what I learned from those and incorporate it into Dig Dug. So I want this car to be fast in the desert, and I want it to be able to handle the gnarly rock crawling trails. So right now this wheel is set up so it's centered in the wheel well, but all of this is gonna get reshaped. It needs to get opened up for bigger tires. These are 40 inchers, and this was originally made for 35s. So when I cut all this up, there's an opportunity here to shift it backwards a little bit and add a couple inches to my wheelbase. That'll be a good thing. Right now, I need to figure out where my center line is and then where I'm gonna move it to. We'll mark that, and then I'll get this axle right in its final position. I moved the wheelbase about 2 inches backwards, so now I'm gonna roll the axle back so it's centered right up in that position. I'm making a plumb bob to get my axle in the right spot. I think that's a technical term, plumb bob. That is perfect. Bob would be proud. The little nubs on my tires are messing with the stream. All right, that's pretty darn close. I set up another plumb bob on this side, so now I've got the axle where I want it, forward and back, and it's centered left and right. All right, I took a little break there, and Peyton showed up, which is great timing. We're trying to figure out how to support the back of this truck so I can take the arms down off the lift, and they're kind of in the way of the control arms. So we got to get them out of there so we can route this bottom control arm and weld on these brackets.
You're trying to move this?
Yeah, I gotta go down with that arm and then swing it out of the way.
Okay.
And I think we're supported back here now, so we should be able to go down with the lift.
Okay, so he's off completely.
This is just kind of precariously perched here. Peyton's down there holding the bracket in place. So I'm gonna mark exactly where this bracket goes. If I can just get the... Yeah, and it's tipped in about 10 degrees. I also need to get the pinion angle right. So see the pinion angle on the middle of the axle there? I need to tip that down to just the right spot, and then we'll mark it again. We got the axle aimed 12 degrees up. Oh no, it should be 78, not 88. Push it up a bunch. Oh, you're getting there. All right. Oh, you got it. So we know where it's gonna land over here. Measure that up. The last thing I need to figure out is how long I want this to be so I know where it's gonna end up on the frame. I'm gonna roll under here with one of these brackets and one of these joints so I can figure out where it's gonna fit on the frame. And with the joint, I wanna make sure I'm not gonna be in a flat section. I wanna make sure that the joint can bend down far enough and that it won't bind in here. So we'll check that out really quick and mark where we wanna put this on the frame. Somewhere on this angled spot of the frame, and I can't make it go straight. It needs to angle outwards towards that other bracket. So it'll have that 10 degrees built into it. I might need to put one of these together and tack it in place, and then I could get a really good measurement between this and the axle bracket. I'll mark here. Let's test fit the joint though while we're here. Okay, so if the joint's in here like this, oh man, it could bend way downward. My links will never bend that far downward. So I can weld this little bracket together without any worry that I'm gonna have to trim anything off of it. So I was about to weld this together and Peyton said, no, stop. Once you do that, you'll never get in here. There's a little slot in here that I can weld, like a rosette weld up into the frame. So I'm not gonna weld this piece on right now, but we will go down there and tack this onto the frame, and then we'll put this on later. So these are the Barnes joints that I'm using on most of the links, but on these big trailing arms, I'm gonna go with these different links so they don't articulate as much. And I don't want this link to bend a lot because it's gonna be attached to the shocks. And so we don't wanna like overstress the joints on those. So I'm gonna use these, and they have bigger holes than normal. So I need to drill out this bracket to 5/8. We don't have Sally, but our drill press will probably get through this. That should go together now. We'll test fit it really quick. Let me find a 5/8 inch bolt. Oh yeah, nice and tight. That'll do. Tiny little belt.
Do I need to get up around the edges or just?
Just a little bit, because that's the welds will go up around the edges.
Okay.
Peyton was really excited to try out a Flappy Bird, so he's down there sounding all that area so we can weld those brackets on. I'm gonna look at the axle and figure out where the brackets are gonna go on that. This mounts to the axle, but I have to pivot it 10 degrees, and it's not really made to do that. So it's gonna open up a gap on one side. So I got a little plate of steel out of my scrap pile. I gotta show you my scrap pile. I have a system for saving scrap because I use the little pieces all the time. But right now we'll do this. I made a little shape like that is gonna fit in there, and then I'm gonna come over a 1/2 inch and make another one. Let me do it on this side. So it'll be more better. Right there. All right, so that's the piece that I need to cut out, that weird little shape. I could go draw it up and do it on the CNC plasma machine, but I'm just gonna hack it out with a grinder or maybe the plasma cutter, something fast and easy. There it is, that's what I was trying to make. That one's too hot to touch right now. I'm gonna go up with the lift now so that we can roll this axle out of here and get the brackets tacked onto the axle. Then we'll get them tacked onto the frame side. All right, I think that'll roll out. Kind of have to roll both sides at once. Oh, we gotta go up a little more. Okay, so these brackets are going on the axle side, and it's gotta fit right down in here somewhere, but then tip in towards the frame. We decided 10 degrees. So I'm building that little filler piece that'll fill that gap down there. I'm worried it's not gonna clear the tire good, but we weren't worried about it when we had it on. This bracket needs to fit on the axle here. And the more I move it up, it'll stay away from the rocks and not get hit as much. And the more I move it down, I get more separation between my lower and my upper joint, and that makes it stronger. So it's kind of a compromise. There's another joint up here, so you need good separation, like vertical separation between the joint down here on the axle tube and up here on the truss. That vertical separation, you want about 25% of your tire diameter. So these are 40-inch tires, so I want at least 10 inches of vertical separation between those joints. And the Barnes brackets are set up to give you almost that exactly. We just tacked one in over here, and it took all 5 of our hands between the two of us, so we couldn't really video it. But we're gonna do the same thing again over here. We gotta measure this angle and this angle all at the same time. Oh yeah, shift this way a little bit. Okay, right there. Now let's get the other angle finder and get that one at 10 degrees. You can't see it. Can you kind of see it down there?
There, yep, that's money.
Go out a little bit. Oh, perfect. Don't move. Okay. Oh, that is right on. Can you see the 10 down there? Mm-hmm. Nice. I'm gonna tack it in one more spot so it doesn't move, and then we can roll it underneath and we'll tack the brackets in on the frame side. I'm still running that 045 wire, and people were asking if it's flux core. It's not. It's actually a powdered metal core, so there's no flux when I'm done to chip, but it does have stuff in the core. So I'm gonna tack this in straight because it's easy to eyeball, and then I'm gonna pivot it the 10 degrees we need to point at that other bracket. So now we need the 10 degrees. Stay, buddy. All right, let me see if I can measure that. Okay, that's about 10. I think we have a lot more to go. We're just lining up everything down here so we can tack in the final frame bracket. Will that sit in there okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it.
And then, do you want it to sit in there, or you sit in there and then you'll cut it later?
It's gonna get cut down. I'm just using it right now to line up this angle. Seems about right. You doing good right there?
Yep.
All right, let's drop that out of there.
Okay.
All right, that should be lined up. Now that these are welded on both ends, I'm gonna measure the distance between them, and that'll be how long I build my links. 51 3/4. 51 1/2, we're very similar. I'll build the links the same length, and then we'll be able to adjust them with the rod ends. I think this is a pretty good stopping point for today. We got a lot done. Tomorrow I'm gonna be heading up to Idaho, and I got some really cool stuff going on up there, so I will take you along and show you what we're up to. We're on the road this morning, heading north, gonna go up to Idaho for the 4th of July. We're about to pull into Maverick here. We're just fueling up Brutus right now. I said gassing up one time and people freaked out. Don't put gas in your diesel, but dieseling up just sounds weird. We're gonna diesel up.
Thank you.
What year is this?
It's 1969. First generation.
Yeah, that's awesome. Check this out, I'm talking with the owner and he's got a York style air compressor in here, switched in at 289. This is an awesome setup. I love the early Broncos.
So here you go. You got this block here, quick release. You come into the front here. This is my air reservoir here.
Oh, your bumper is sealed?
That's my air reservoir. You
Yeah,
can see
yeah,
the
I
line
see it.
into it.
Now we're back on the road. While I'm passing through Salt Lake City, there's a shop I want to stop at called AI13. They make these really cool fuel nozzles that fit on different containers like the Rotopacks. So I'm gonna pick up some stuff and see if I can also get a quick tour of their shop and the fabrication process. We found their shop. We're gonna stop in here really quick and grab some things and check out what they do. So these guys have these huge lathes that cut out all this material. It's got a whole bunch of different tools in there and it rotates and can use different ones. And then the aluminum's down here in the chuck. So this thing takes big bars of aluminum and it turns it into really cool products like this lid and the spout here on the end of the nozzle. I don't know, all I can see is coolant shooting all over the place. I'm kind of just snooping around right here. They have this table set up with this attachment that will drill holes and tap threads into parts. And I've always wanted to put one of these on my table. I just think they're cool. I need to get something like that. I also need a mill. Whoa, that is cool.
Yeah.
That was super cool. Now I'm back on the road to Idaho. I'm checking out some spud trucks while I'm up here. I'm looking for the perfect one. And I know some people are gonna say I'm copying Matt, but it was my idea that Matt copied. So I'm really copying myself, and that's the highest form of flattery. Nice, it's got a ball peen hammer. It's like it was made for me. This one's an international. That's awesome. I gotta check out the inside. I haven't been in one of these. Oh, look at that bench. The dash in there is super cool. This vintage is really, really cool. The gauges are awesome. This windshield wraps totally around. This is a cool spud truck. It's kind of like the Record. Check out that too, custom door handle. Farmers are incredibly ingenious. This is a really nice one. All right, this guy just pulled up and his dad owns these trucks, so I'm gonna quiz him a little bit to see what he knows. So do they run or do they work?
Yeah, they do run. So yeah, we use them all in the spring mostly because we cut seed potatoes.
Okay.
And so we just use them in the spring to haul out all the trash, all the stuff that gets cut.
Yeah.
Like that.
Have you guys had these forever?
Yeah, they've been around forever.
You bought them new, probably. Your dad did?
No, so my dad actually just bought the business a couple years ago.
Okay. So they've been on this farm for a long time?
They've been here for a while. I'm not necessarily sure exactly how long.
All right.
So
awesome.
But
I'll give your dad a call and I'll talk to him.
yeah, he'll know a lot more than I will. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day, man.
You too.
You launched Scarlet. Oh. I don't know how you do that one. Go! Ah, got it. You gotta finish. You gotta finish. Oh.
Yeah, vacation looks good on
You're gonna
you.
ram me full speed, huh?
Sorry.
You ready for battle?
No, the Barbie boat's off limits.
All right.
All right.
Go. Woo! That was colder than I thought.
I'm just kidding. I think I
None
got
of
it.
us can hear you. We're swimming. We're just getting a little late night oil change in on Bridger's Jeep before we head home. Shouldn't take too long. Oh. There we go.
Got it.
Okay, we're all good here. For a small town, Idaho Falls has an incredible fireworks show. Definitely worth checking out. We're on our way home, dieseling up one last time before we get back. We had a great trip in Idaho. We'll see you back in the shop. I'm back now and I'm working in my shop and I'm gonna get right back onto these links. So I've got the truck sitting at right height. I've got the axle right where I want it, the pinion angle adjusted just right. So I'm ready now to make my measurement on the length of these lower links. Okay, that's close enough. I'm gonna measure from this bracket right here up over to this bracket right here. Then I'll get the other side. Hopefully they're the same. Okay, that's like 52 1/8 of an inch. Okay, that is super close. I measured both sides and they're like 52 1/8 plus or minus a tiny bit. They're really close, so that's how long I'm gonna make both links. The upper links are gonna end up somewhere in this range. They'll be like 40 inches long. I haven't quite figured them out. We'll get the lower links done and then we'll work on this part. I've got my total length. It's 52 1/8 of an inch, but that's not how long I wanna cut my tubing at. I need to mock up the rod ends for both sides and figure out how much that's gonna take up so that when I'm all done, the bolt holes are 52 1/8 inch apart. So I'm gonna adjust these rod ends and the tube inserts and the nuts that all go on them. I'm gonna make sure I have about an inch of adjustability so I can make it a little bit shorter. I could also make it a lot longer if I needed to. And then I'll figure out exactly how long to cut my tube. So on each one of these, one of the tube ends is a left-hand thread and one of them is a right-hand thread. And that's so you can spin the tubing to adjust it and make it longer or shorter. But this is rectangular tube, so you can't really just spin it. I'll probably have to take off an end and turn it, but I'm still going with a left-hand and a right-hand thread. And they actually mark them so you can tell which is which. That right there's a little line in the middle of this. That little line means that one is left-hand thread. And on the nut, they do the same thing. There's a little dash mark on the nut, but that means it's left-hand thread. So that when you have this whole thing together and you're trying to figure out which way to turn things, they're marked and you can tell. So square, right-hand thread, round, and this one is the left-hand thread. Sometimes the left-hand threads on these throw me off when I'm putting them together or trying to tighten them up or adjust them. You just have to remember, lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. Down on this end, we got to subtract 3 inches. And on this end over here, we need to subtract 5 inches. So 52 1/8 minus 8, we need to cut at 44 1/8 of an inch. I really like that saw because it's able to cut things really precise. I like to make my mark right in the middle of my measurement, and then with the saw, I try to cut that mark in half. And that makes my pieces come out really consistent and really precise. Actually, way more than I need for this kind of work. I got the links cut down to size, and now I'm gonna drill holes around the ends so that I can plug weld these tube inserts into place, as well as doing the big ring around the face. The holes are all drilled. Now I'm going to hit them really quick with the deburring tool. I'm going to cut a big wedge-shaped piece out of the end here so I can fold up the bottom, and that'll make this end of the tube all nice and clean. I'll leave the middle the full thickness or the full height so it's nice and strong in the middle where it needs to be. And then I'll cut a little wedge off of this end too, just a small one, so it'll be tied up clean too and it won't have a big open end. I'm going to get these all marked up and start cutting into them. I think these are ready to squeeze them together and weld them up now. Kind of looks like a whale. Got to check this one and see if there's a golf ball in the blowhole. I'm going to try and hammer them or maybe get a clamp and squeeze them. We'll see what we can do. All right, that should weld up nice. I've got a little mess up, fix up I gotta do. When I was welding these, I burnt the end of the threads a little bit and I can't screw in one of the rod ends. I'm gonna get in there with a die grinder, see if I can clean that out. If that doesn't work, I'll have to cut out that tube insert and get another one. All right, that's threading in pretty good. I think I fixed it. Ah, nice. That was a good save. All right, I'll finish welding that up now. The square inserts welded in really nice. I kind of hate to put these round ones in on the other end, so I might just tack these in for now, and then I'll get more square ones and switch them out later, and that'll allow me to keep working today. That's all I'm gonna do on that end right now. I'm gonna clean these up while they're cooling off, and then we can go see how they fit. These links are all cooled off now, so I'm gonna put them together and then we can go see how they're gonna fit in the truck. All right, I'm going under to see if I can get this link installed. Looks like I need to tack these brackets in a little better first. I don't want them to break off while I'm trying to shove that link in there. All right, let's see if we can get this link in. Oh, these are heavy. There we go. All right, one link is on. I'm gonna grab the other one, see if I can wrestle it in here too. The links are installed, so I just have some small bolts holding them in place, but they're where they need to be. So now I've got something that I really want to show you. These just came in. I'm excited about them. They're going to be awesome in this truck. Let me go grab them really quick. All right, these are what just came in and what I'm really, really excited about. These are what's going into Dig Dug. Maverick's really excited about these shocks too. We're gonna have a coil over like this shock, and there's no coils on it right now, so it's just a threaded shock body. We'll have to buy the springs. And we'll have a bypass shock like this on each corner. So these are what's going in the back right side. And now that I've got that trailing arm in there, I can start to fit these in and see where they're gonna connect into that trailing arm. I need to cut a pocket into it so they can attach down into the middle of that arm. I'll talk about that in a minute. We're gonna design in something called anti-flutter. Maverick, you are really liking these. Maverick approves. The coil over is going to go in here somewhere. Maybe right in there. These things are heavy. I can only show you one at a time right now. So coilover will sit in here somewhere like this. The springs will go around this and it'll tie down into that trailing arm that I've been building. I love that they're gonna stick up into the bed. They're gonna look super cool. We'll have to build some kind of tube structure that they can tie into up here. We'll have to redo this whole entire inner fender. Lots of stuff to do. The bypass shock is gonna fit in here more. It'll go closer to the axle side, so it gets more wheel travel. And it's gonna stick up about the same height, probably right in there somewhere. That's gonna look cool. Maverick is really excited to be in here today. I think he might be a shop cat. Let go. Let go. This is the metric tape measure, and Maverick is not having it. This is an American cat. There is a bunch more work to do on this suspension down here, but it's getting sketchier and sketchier to work on this truck because, as several people have pointed out in the comments, the front end's really heavy, the back end's really light, and there's no good way to grab it with the lifts because all the spots I need to grab are being covered by these control arms. So I've got it perched right here on this jack stand and that jack. So if I shake it back and forth, it's pretty wobbly. So I'm gonna wait now until I get some real jack stands under here, and then I can work on it without worrying about it collapsing. That's all I'm gonna do right now, but I have one more thing that I wanna show you. Check this out, the new license plate came in. Pretty excited about that. I've had a lot of people in the comments asking, why is it named Dig Dug? Great question. It's because Dig Dug was the greatest video game of all time. And my son knew that, and he said, Dad, let's name this truck Dig Dug. And I said, great idea. So this truck has been affectionately called Dig Dug for a long time, and it will continue to be called Dig Dug forever, now with this plate. Let me show you the original plate that came on this truck right here. This is a Wyoming truck. This truck was pulled out of a farm in Wyoming. If you're interested in knowing about the backstory of this truck, let me know in the comments. I gotta find a spot that this license plate is gonna fit on Dig Dug when it's all finished up. So I'm gonna figure that out. Thank you for watching. You can check out a couple more videos right over here.